Hi, this is Dorothy Smith with Dot Scrapbooking, and I am going to show you the May 2020 Creative Magazine, Creative Scrapbooker Magazine Sketchy Challenge. Hard for me to say. Anyway, it's not a very complicated challenge. And they never put the sizes of things with it, so you just kind of, go by how it looks and by what you want to do. So that's cool because it kind of gives you a chance to, excuse me, try out things and figure out, what is, does that look like 3 inches or 4 inches? So, and it doesn't make any difference really. It's you just want to make it work for you. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I say that all the time. So I am using Sapphire as my base page. And I'm using linen, light linen with a 1/2 inch cut off on each side as the next page. And then my angled page is going to be from Urban. Yeah, I'm going to use the light side of the linen. And I've been using the Urban paper, which is probably running out by now on Close to My Heart. It's a paper that they did a Bring Back My Pack page, and I have bought a whole lot of it. So I've been trying to, for Jim's plane building, I'm just kind of using those papers because they're very manly. They've got blueprint sketches on them and that cross-hatching metal look that you see on the back, on the back of pickup trucks, and they're all kind of funky and dirty looking, very male. Anyway, they've been perfect for his plane building project. So I am going to figure out how to cut this because I can't really put it in my, that's me counting with my fingers, in my Fiskars. So I try, doesn't stop me from trying, but I am going to go get my mat and use it with a blade to cut this. So here we go trying. Full on effort with pulling the arm out. But it's really not going to work, or my brain isn't able right now to figure out how to do it. So it's really when you're making such a long diagonal cut, because the diagonal means that you're going beyond 12 inches. So that you're right angle and the hypotenuse and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I am going to go get my handy dandy black Close to My Heart mat. So you can cut on one side. It's got a self-healing side to it, and then it also has the spongy side. And really, I don't know why I don't keep this in my video room to use for all my layouts, because it's so handy with having all of the measurements right there. So I am going to kind of go down. I sort of wish I had gone down 3 inches instead of 4, but there you go. What can you say? No big deal. You just go with it. So I have to cut it. I mean, I feel like I went through all the way, but I didn't. And I ended up cutting it like 3 or 4 times. That's how thick our paper is, people. It's really thick paper. Okay, there we go, 3 times. So, because it is two-sided, and it's really, we call it paper, but it's really more like cardstock, honestly. So I am going to show the blueprint side of it because, that's kind of where he is with this whole thing. And I probably shouldn't have put the Tombow all the way to the edge because I'm going to tuck some pieces underneath there. So all I have to do is put the little anti-static pad on there, and the stickum gets all taken up with powder, so the stickum goes away. And I'm kind of deciding whether I should put a little edge, show up a little bit of the edge, and I decided that looks better than taking the blueprint straight out to the sapphire cardstock. So all of the pictures, I think, are like 3x4s. And what I'm going to do, I cut out a CRICUT title for this, and it's going to be Garage Project, if I can remember how to spell garage. So I did that in saffron, that kind of gold color. So since his whole project is going to be built, the plane is going to be built in the garage. It's a garage project, so that's perfect. Now I'm just making some little 1/4-inch journaling strips to put the name and date and what he's doing. Haven't printed. He's done some new stuff. He hasn't been able to do a whole lot because his feet hurt. But we've got to print out some more pictures of what he just did recently, and we haven't done that yet. So I'm putting the strips down. I'm just kind of putting them parallel to the bottom, and then we'll go from there. I'll just kind of make them even with each other. So, and there's going to be some little dots that are going to go, some little accent pieces that are going to go next to the strips. And those are going to be from my package of embellishments that is cork. And I've used these for a couple of projects lately. These are older embellishments, but somehow they just kind of go with a whole lot of stuff. And so these little cork things are, they're rustic, so it's perfect for this particular paper and use. So there's our little journaling area. And then I'm going to take, this is the other side of the, whatever you call that metal that's got the cross-hatching on it. So I'm going to cut some pieces to handle a 3x4 picture. So I love how it's just kind of funky looking. It looks like coffee was spilled on it and dirt got on it. And then I'm going to put a little, so I made like a 1/4 inch showing of that paper all around the 3x4. So the paper was cut to 3.5 by 4.5. So it's a 1/4 inch all the way around. And then the sapphire paper was cut to 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So that's just getting a little bit of an edge to go around it just to make it stand out. And I'm going to have it, pop up a little bit with my foam tape. And I'm going to leave it off of one side because there's going to be other pictures that are kind of they're kind of going to tuck under that one and then tuck down into the diagonal. It's not a flap, but the diagonal piece there. So this will be the main picture. And actually, I didn't have to put pictures on these other pieces, but they could be for anything. They could be for more journaling. They could be for little cards to go in there to show a little picture of something that you didn't have to print up. I mean, it could be used for a lot of different stuff. So I'm kind of going to use the crosshatch metal and then flip it over and also use the blueprint. Actually, the metal would have been just fine all around, but You know, it's kind of fun. One thing with this project is you know, I kind of get to kind of hoof it here, you know, kind of, I don't have it really planned out, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of ladies plan their stuff out. I just don't always plan. But, you know, it kind of gives me a chance to think on the fly, and, you know, then afterwards I think, gee, I really wish I had done that a little bit differently. But that's okay. So I'm putting in 3 3x4s, and then I don't have enough paper, so I have enough to make a 3x3, and so I'm going to put a 3x3 in there too. You know, you don't have enough paper, so you do something else. There we go. So there's the other little things that get tucked in. And then I'm trying to figure out, I don't like just the saffron letters on top of the linen. So I'm going to come up with another idea of putting it on this paper and see what I really wish. So that's the flip side to the blueprint. So what I really wish I had done was to put the letters on the blueprint side, the blue, which really would have made the letters stick out nicely, and then edge it with the gray paper there, the metal paper. But you know what? This is what happens when you don't plan. Oop! So that's okay. Like I said, you know, you go with it. Just go with the flow. And then I decide that, well, really the letters aren't sticking out near enough. So then I have another little thing that I do. And it's like, okay, that's all right. That does make the letters stand out a little bit. So this is my title, Slowly but Surely. You know what? Maybe I'll speed this. Okay. So I just speeded this up because, good Lord, it takes me a long time to do these little detailed things. And, you know, it's not too interesting because I do the same thing over and over again. So you get the feel. I'm just lining these up as best I can, and I'm not going to worry about perfection. You know, I'm just going to try to get close. And it's already starting to stick. I wasn't thinking that Tombow liquid stuck so quickly, but it starts sticking really quickly. So, you know, you don't get much of a second chance on that, but that's okay. So I like that G. That's like, reminds me of school in the old days. So there's my title. And see, the letters blend in a little bit with that background. I do like that nasty looking background though. So now I'm just going to cut it out and, you know, cut it down a little bit. And so it comes out, actually it ends up being a little bit smaller than I thought, but I really didn't have a whole lot of space up there. And so I'm thinking it needs a little something to, instead of just gray on gray. So I'm going to measure, and then I'm going to use the other side of that paper, which is the blueprint. And this is where I realized, oh, you really should have put the saffron letters on the blueprint. Oh well. In my next life, I'll plan better. Maybe I'll be organized in my next life. That would be nice. So here we go. I'm just going to cut my blueprint down. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm giving it like a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And glue hasn't dried completely on the letters. But I kind of like, see, it doesn't stick out so much. So I get my jotting pen and I decide, well, let's see, what can we do here to make them stick out a little bit? So it's not perfect, but it does help them to stick out a little bit. I wouldn't have come up with this idea had I not had the letters not stick out on this paper. So there you go. I don't think I've ever done this before, where I've outlined the letters. It really does make them stick out. So that's kind of cool. Or it's just a mistake with a fix. However you want to look at it. I really like that lowercase g. That's so cool, isn't it? Okay, I like it. I'm liking it better and better. And it is a garage project, so, you know, you gotta just kind of go with the flow, and if it's a little rough around the edges, that's an okay thing. What won't be rough around the edges is the plane that Jim is building, because of his attention to detail and doing it neatly. So it's a good thing I'm scrapbooking and he's building the plane and not vice versa. Oh dear, we wouldn't want to fly a plane that I built. Okay, here we go. I decided it was too much blue showing, and I just wanted a little bit less. So I kind of decided that looks better. And fortunately, I could cut off the edges and still stay straight. So there we go. There's my title, and that's fine. So hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like what I do, or if you want to just sit there and laugh and feel good about yourself because you're not as goofy as I am. That's okay too. I'll take that. Y'all take care. Bye now.